I would like to express a big thank you to Ms. Natalia Clash, because once more she intervened to arrange this meeting, very important meeting. It's not the first time that she does that. And I will take the occasion to also express on behalf of the municipality our thanks for what you are doing for the city. You are doing a very important and instrumental part of the city over the last quite few years, participating in all aspects of the life of Limassol, and your contribution is greatly appreciated. So thank you very much for being here. Let me introduce my collaborators. First of all, Mr. Harris Rikis is the chairman of the Committee of European and International Affairs. Ms. Anita Geniu, the press secretary of the United. Can I take my coat off? Mr. Stelios Ioannidis, he's in charge of the also the public relations department. And we have with us a context and the basis to start our discussion, and we get right afterwards into discussion and expressing your suggestions, which we are very looking forward to listen to. Okay? Okay? Good. So, Anita, you have the floor.
Hi, my name is Anita Geniu, and for the last 6 years I am the press and communication officer in Limassol municipality. My presentation will not take long, and I will present you in brief the project that we have completed and what is planned for the next months or year. Limassol, as we all know, despite the difficulties of the pandemic and the crisis, continues to grow with impressive pace. And everybody is talking about a city which gradually acquires the features of a modern megalopolis, characterized by vibrance, extroversion, dynamism, sensibility. It's not an accident that Limassol is considered a pioneering place to establish a business. Even during the pandemic, the city continued to attract foreign investment. Limassol has developed a leading international service center with several globally renowned companies active in, from live-in, or from Limassol. Our city remains a global shipping center, and at the same time, it is evolving into a high-tech hub. Limassol municipality has a vision, so we set our strategic target to be a modern European city on an integrated, sustainable development trajectory, servicing the continuous improvement of the quality of life of its citizens. Projects that we completed in 2022. Many projects have been completed in the past years, but we decided to focus on the most recent ones. The Senior Citizens Center, which began its operation last October. The Blue Innovation Center in collaboration with Royal Caribbean, which is operations focused on blue economy. A new park at Dios Georgios Kabouzas area. The Polythematic Social Services Center in Michaoli Tavazo Street, where we will introduce very soon social services programs. The new building of our Philharmonic Band, one of the oldest Philharmonic orchestras in Cyprus. We also upgraded the athletic field of Lazio, and we relocated the open market that takes place every Saturday morning to a new area near Franklin Roosevelt Street. Several projects are under construction. The creation of environmental roads in the neighborhoods of Omonia area, the development of a new park in Gurgen Street in Zakaki, and the creation of 4 new beach sports fields for beach volley and soccer and tennis. Also, the environmental regeneration in roads and in the neighborhood of Ozeleение. The Sewerage Board of Limassol implemented 30 million anti-floating project in the center and the periphery of the city to prevent and hopefully to solve the huge problem of flooding that we have in previous years. It seems that the mission accomplished, but we remain aware until the completion. Projects during the current year, actually, a call for tenders will be issued for the development of the Museum of Sports History of Limousol, which will host permanent and periodic athletic museum collections. The great project of the construction of the municipal cultural infrastructure, the House of Culture, which will host again various cultural associations in Limossol. The creation of a second municipal library near the municipal university library. The water museum, the new municipal offices in Saripolu Street, and the ladies' mine regeneration. We continue with the implement of 600 affordable housing units, the development of the environmental regeneration of roads and neighborhoods in Ozeleение area, the development of Hero Square, the creation of St. Andreas Park next to the football field of Ailos, the phase 2 of Agia Fila Center regeneration, and the upgrading of Zagari Square. As an authority, it's very important for us to improve the car traffic problem by implementing a sustainable urban mobility study. The proposals to create this. It's to create at Themistokleou Street the central bus station, a transfer station at the Boninonda field, to have more peripheral parking rights, bus lanes at the 6th Avenue and the Omnibus Street, more bicycle lanes, a highway flyover Postipalamá and Lamenti Street, a 30-kilometer zone south to Glasgow Street to the historical city center, to set a carbon-free zone for buses, to make Anексартисиас Street one-way, to have a shuttle bus service for the center of the city, a comprehensive parking system. With high sense of responsibility, we proceed with the creation of the first center of provision of specialized services for the homeless, Schedia. We developed 2 senior citizen centers, and we developed the polythematic social program center in Michauli and Gavazo Street. To access city services, we launched the innovative Limassol municipality app.
It was your suggestion a couple of years ago.
Yes, I'm so glad that it was suggested during such meeting, and I'm so glad that it put forward.
Yes, that's very
Yeah.
Now citizens have access to municipal services and information. They can report any issues through a specific procedure about cleanliness, road repair, signs, and other subjects that are available in reporting. We have the 24/7 telephone center, and we have 2 24/7 standby plans for any emergency situations. Cleanliness of the city is a priority for Limassol municipality. Therefore, we have hired more personnel. More personnel. We invest in new equipment and technologies, and we develop target awareness campaign in the city. As part of the actions taken to address climate change, we created more parks. We planted trees to make the avenues of the city, but also to to parks in various neighborhoods. And we also started planning to implement the ambitious development of the metropolitan park in collaboration with the 5 municipalities of Limassol. In recent years, Limassol has significantly upgraded its cultural level, both with infrastructure and action plans. We're investing more in culture with the creation of 3 new museums, Cultural Museum, Athletic Museum, and City History Museum, but also with the development of the new cultural center, the House of Culture, as we said. We are upgrading our traditional festival, which is Limassol Carnival and Wine Festival, but also we upgrade the cultural events. We said the new cultural events, the string orchestra, the classical music festival, and the Philharmonic Band Festival.
This weekend is a Philharmonic Festival at the Moros area. You're most welcome. We'll be having some bands from abroad, from Kerkira, a grand band with marching, and also on Friday night, we'll be having, Saturday night, we're having a concert within the castle premises with 2 Philharmonic bands. You are most welcome to attend it.
In the field of sports, Limassol Municipality enriched the programs of Lemessia, adding even more athletics competitions. We host important events like Limassol Marathon and other international events. We upgraded the infrastructure of ASIO, the peripheral fields and the playgrounds, and as I said previously, we created the new beach sports athletic center. The biggest challenge for Limassol, Mission Cities, 100 climate neutral smart cities by 2030. Limassol is the only city in Cyprus that was evaluated and selected to participate in the program and aim to become climate neutral and smart by 2030 in areas such as energy, waste management, transport, building, facilities, aiming to improve the quality of life of our citizens. Limassol Municipality is in the planning stage to submit a proposal for the title of European Capital of Culture by 2030. In the case of winning the Limassol, we have many opportunities to regenerate the city, to raise its international profile, and to have many opportunities. Thank you for your attention.
That we submitted, as you know, that we had over 80 questions which were approved, and you, with this slide, you reflected all the subjects. So I would like to thank you for this well preparation. And Mr. Nicolaitis, I would like to thank you for being open to such kind of meetings. As you mentioned, this is not the first meeting. We have it on annual basis of pre-COVID time. And this meeting is the first meeting in the last 2.5 years, which can be like resuming the tradition of communication and conversation in this format with the Russian-speaking community. Here in this room today, we have representatives of different groups. They are not only readers of Vesnikipra, but each of them has a group they influence at. Whether it's online groups for women, we have 2 ladies here, whether it's an IT group, whether it's a game development industry, whether it's a Russian church. So everyone who is here today is willingly wants to listen, to hear what Limassol is doing and to get answers on the questions of the readers, but I will also give them the floor to voice out their own questions, which they came with today. So our remaining subjects that we need to answer, if we cannot answer during this meeting, obviously, all the questions cannot be raised here. We will send to Anita, and then we can have the written answers. And here we have one colleague, a journalist, who will write transform the answers into articles. So that is a plan. We'll also have a video recording pieces of our conversations will be cut out and posted to the website of the Russian daily newspaper, now known as daily newspaper, for the wider audience. And we have a photographer who will cover this event so we can send you these photos. With this, I would like to start with some specific questions that are very easy to be answered in few sentences, but at the same time have very important meaning to the community. For example, we have here on the table this opinion on Limassol Zoo. What's happening and what will happen to Limassol Zoo? What's your position on that?
There has been a lot of discussion about the future of the municipal zoo. Let me introduce Nikki Pandeliru, member of the municipal council. She just came. A lot of discussion, a lot of citizens are concerned about the situation there and about the future of the Limassol Zoo, which has been established many, many years ago. It has gone through a lift in about 10 years ago, which time it was transformed from a full-fledged municipal zoo with lions and the bears and the tigers into a more, let's say, compact zoo with smaller animals. And we think that 10 years after that uplift, it is time to reconsider the future of the municipal zoo. So we have come up with a public consultation process, and I would very much urge you to just click on the barcode and get into the side of the consultation. We lay in front of the citizens two options. The first option is to close it down and make it a part of the municipal garden. The second option is to transform it, to upgrade it into something more relevant to what the society is. Mr. Michael Subratis, member of the municipal council as well, with more modern methods and ways to exhibit perhaps some indigenous forms of animal life in Cyprus, and any other suggestions that may come from the public in general. So please express your idea. We would love to have the opinion of the people, because that would be very, very, very important for us to guide us towards making the right decision for the future of the municipal zoo. There are people who say that it's nice to have a municipal zoo for the kids. They go there, they enjoy themselves, but let's make it better. Let's improve it. There are people who say that's not the time to have animals in prison. Let's close it down. So these are the two options. Please express your
When do you
opinion.
expect your opinion poll to be finished, finalized, discussed? How many days, months?
How many people do you expect?
No, when you complete this
We will
research?
complete, yes,
take a
the
decision.
public consultation by the end of July.
Okay.
So there is some time. Tell your friends. We will definitely take into consideration very seriously the opinion of the people, but we would love to have the real, objective opinion of the people. So we want to have as broad a consultation as possible. One thing is for sure: the municipal zoo cannot remain the way it is. It will either evolve into something much better, more modern, or it will be closed down and transformed into a public park.
Oh, thank you. And I suggest yes, we should, but I believe it's better everyone will answer and participate in the poll. Yes. So the next question is regarding the old town and the overall look of Limassol as a city. I will read three questions that we've got. Actually, there were more, but we put them into three main subjects. One is it possible to create a unified design code for buildings in Limassol? Like many cities or towns, they have a design code that every citizen knows. These are the colors of our town. This you can do. This you cannot. Second, what program does the Limassol municipality have for the reconstruction of the historical center? There are many beautiful houses and mansions, but they are abandoned. The center can and should be made even more attractive for leisure activities. That was the second. And the third, is there a
About a couple of years ago, a sustainable urban mobility study was completed for Limassol. It was a study done by a group of scientists, traffic experts, and they laid down a number of measures and steps to be taken over a period of 10 years in order to address the very difficult traffic problem of the city, which derives from the fact that 92+% of all movements the citizens do are done via a private car. So unless we lower this percentage, the traffic problem in Limassol will keep raising. So they have defined a number of actions, a number of projects, totaling a number of a total budget of more than 400 million euros over a 10-year period, funding which will have to come from the central government and the municipality. Among these actions is the pedestrianization of the center of the city. The center of the city is destined to be pedestrian the way it is a pedestrian area for most of the modern cities. Most of the modern European cities, when you go, you see the center of the cities being a large pedestrian area with shopping centers and cafes and restaurants and everything. As far as Anексартисиас is concerned, Anексартисиas will be a pedestrian area together with St. Andrew Street. We have just completed a public consultation process for Anексартисиas. We are planning to have an interim stage of Anексартисиas as a one-way street. That will help us create a culture that Anексартисиas Street is not a street for the cars. It's a street for pedestrians, for public transportation. So hopefully, beginning of next year, we make Anексартисиas a one-way street. The question raised is whether the circulation will be from south to north or from north to south. The Sustainable Urban Mobility Plan suggests the right of way to be from south to north, so that buses are facilitated to use Anексартисиas Street. So we'll see. But what's definite is that by beginning of next year, Anексартисиas will become a one-way street with a target to make the pedestrian way all the way within a few years. This is the target. Of course, it is something that there are reactions by people wherever in the world. The municipal authorities try to make a street, a commercial street, as a pedestrian street. People make riots, and especially shop owners. It's not an easy decision to
What happened, example,
push.
Macario Street?
Precarious in Nicosia. We were recently in Sofia with Harris, and there was a street now which is absolutely lovely, but when the mayor tried to make the pedestrian street, I mean, there were riots. But we are determined. We are determined to push these measures. One reason is the Mission City program. We are committed to make all efforts so that Limassol by 2030, 20 years earlier than the Green Deal, acquires the features of a neutral, of a climate neutral city, which is, it's not an easy target, but we definitely try very hard. One of them, so that there will be many measures which will not be very popular with the people, but we have to be determined, and we have to convince people who are more willing to accept changes and they can understand the necessity of these changes to join in the effort to do that.
Mhm. And now moving to the design code. Does Limassol have any plans to
The
introduce
design code is defined by the local plan, the local master plan of the city. There is also an aesthetics committee with participants from the central government, from the organization of architects, which has some rules under which new buildings are judged as far as their appearance is concerned. The center, the revitalization of the center of the city is a big issue. Some years ago, when the local university wasn't present, it was even worse. The local university brought a new, let's say, freshness in the center of the city. There are quite a few problems which we're trying to address. We hope that we can retain rather, the inhabitants of the center of the city within the center of the city, because they are absolutely needed together with the rest of the commercial and other, let's say, usages. It's absolutely necessary to raise the commerciality of the center of the city. We hope that with the arrival of a few hundreds of cruise ships, this will be a good boost for the commercialization of the city. But of course, we have to address another problem that comes with commercialization, the problem of the facilities and the well-being of the inhabitants of the city. I mean, noise and all these nuances for the people. We have to create the perfect or good conditions for cohabitation of inhabitants and commercial users as well. It's a big challenge, really big challenge.
And here we speak about traffic problems and road infrastructure. It's obvious that Limassol now has more inhabitants, more residents, and the roads are not enough to fit them all. One solution is to have less cars, to make more expensive everything which a car owner does in the city, including parking and so on. So you have solution to have some parking outside and then to have buses to the center. But what are the other plans to face this? When we were mentioning about the bus stops, there are specific areas, it's not enough, it's obvious. And when now, for example, we have traffic on the C road, and the C road will become narrow with one lane for buses, and only one lane remaining for traffic, it will be even worse. I will read the questions. What are the plans to prevent traffic from getting worse? The road infrastructure of Limassol is not developing as fast as the real estate market. When the construction of one uninterrupted promenade or bicycle path from the marina to Park Lake will begin. This question we hear often because Limassol has a seafront, but not seafront, but in some areas, especially in the Moussouya area, there is not possible to have this path along the sea. So what plans are in place for the development of the public transportation network in Limassol? Could be there buses and minibuses combined into one online application so you can know where the bus is and when it will come to your station? And is there a plan to increase routes for buses and for more remote areas, because people feel that there is a very good bus route along the seafront, but if you live 1.5 kilometers or 2 kilometers up, that's quite difficult not to use your private car because you cannot get to your home with a bus.
Thank you. Let me start by saying that no modern city ever solved the traffic problems without a modern, comprehensive, efficient public transportation system. The only public transportation system that we can have now, because it's a fully built city, is a bus system. We cannot have a subway, we cannot have a real, let's say, tram system. We have to develop the bus system in a more efficient and sustainable way. There is a new contract to begin to be put in operation. They are here already, and they were presented a few days ago. They're in the port ready to come out. There are 250 new buses. It will be a complete replacement of all the buses of the. Incidentally, it's the same bus company that has the previous contract that will have the new contract. So 250 new buses, among which 35 electric buses, small electric buses. The new contract provides for more than 30% more routes and how often the buses come. So there are all the prerequisites that the new contract, provided that the buses are supported. Because the buses, in order to be efficient and to be to have a result, they need to be supported by bus stations, by bus stops, modern bus stops with let's say information when the next bus will come, with bus lanes, with park and ride systems. So this is what we are trying to create, the necessary supporting system so that the buses will be successful this time. As far as the bus lanes are concerned, we have recently gained a 15 million euro grant to create 2 bus lanes and a network of bicycle lanes, a 28-kilometer network of bicycle lanes below the Makarios Avenue. The 2 bus lanes will be along the seaside area, and the second bus lane will be along Leondiou and Nikopatiki Street. Nikopatiki Street is a street that leads to the roundabout that goes to the mountains, because there is a lot of traffic coming from the western part of the city. People who want to come to the city and work and everything. So these 2 bus lanes, actually yesterday we had a meeting at the municipal council and we gave our approval for the central government to proceed, provided that a sufficient number of plots will be allocated for park and ride. For example, there has to be a place in Limassol where people can leave their cars and come via bus to the bus lane to the center of the city. There has to be a parking place in the jumbo area, so that people who come from Ayos Athanasiou leave their cars there and come by bus to the center of the city. There has to be 1 or more parking stations along Nikopatiki Street, just below or above the roundabout which leads to the mountains, so that people can leave their cars there and take the bus, and through the bus lane they come more quickly to where they want to go. Of course, we are very concerned that people will react if you take one of the 2 lanes, for them, they will definitely react. But we have to make life for the private car difficult. Otherwise, the situation will remain as it is and nothing will change. So please be prepared for harsh measures, for tough measures. They will probably make our lives a bit difficult at first, but hopefully in a few years they will start becoming better. We will start having the result of this difficult measures.
Thank you. I suggest now just to have some time for the questions from the audience who are here. And I suggest that we would limit ourselves to the subjects that were already discussed. So you can ask questions to the subject that Anina had at her presentation and Mr. Mayor had so far. These are the subjects of the Old Town Overlook and Design-kod. This is the subject of road, and representative of this new wave of Russian-speaking people who came to Cyprus during 1.5 years, IT people who brought this vibrant culture of new events, new demands, maybe family-like demands. This children playground is for families like lots. And what is the question?
Yeah, thank you for meeting. So I have 2 quick questions. First, is it possible the group of people invest here to plant the trees here or near the city? And the second, do you have some plan for developing venture ecosystem here? Because I didn't see it in the right?
What system?
Venture, like innovation, startup system.
Okay, ecosystem for startups.
Yes.
So first one is investment.
Plant trees.
Yeah. Can any business person who's
Yes.
willing to see
Yes.
not only green
Yes.
to
And
come
how?
ideas?
Yes,
How?
yes. Every 3 weeks, we organize a tree plantation, and we'll be more than glad to have you with us. As a matter of fact, the next one, we have stopped now because the weather is cold. In September, we'll begin, and the first plantation we will do is for Ayes Philaxio Street. It will start from the roundabout of Ayes Philaxio up until Spiritu Avenue, and the trees there and the irrigation system was donated by a company like yours. So you are more than welcome to join the effort to make our city green. As far as the innovation center, we have created an innovation center for startups and incubation, which has it is more targeted towards blue economy. Blue economy has to do with shipping, it has to do with whatever has to do with seas and seashores, ports and everything. We thought that since Limassol is a shipping hub, very renowned all over the world, this would be very attractive for young people from outside Cyprus also to come with suggestions for new products, new ideas. So we are working on a new call for suggestions that have to do with blue economy. We have narrowed it for matters having to do with blue economy because I think the more specialized this innovation center is, the better it will work.
I think also you have here a lot of game dev and
Game
tech
dev,
companies,
yes.
and they can invest in new companies. So I think
Absolutely.
combine them and help.
Absolutely. The IT sector is a very vibrant
It's very
sector,
important. to be
very
honest.
important. I mean, I saw the data recently, and the IT sector is already contributing more than 12% to our GDP, which is it's amazing. I mean, Cyprus, Limassol is becoming a little by little a small IT hub, and we are trying very hard to make the technological part in Pedagamo a reality. It has been delayed for so many years. It's an absolute must to assist you people in what you are doing.
Thank you.
Yes. Can I also introduce you? Tim. Tim is a leader of a game dev community, game development community, and they are growing so fast. And the last achievement that I'm very proud of him, he made a game dev festival of game development. And how many people you have there?
More than 1,000 people.
More than
all around the
1,000
world.
people
With
came to
Rafael.
San Rafael Hotel for game development festival. It was outdoor on Friday, working day, but the seminars were outdoor, they have families with them. It was a new concept for Limassol. And your question?
Yeah, my question is very quick. It's not a coincidence, we just like sitting close to each other and asking questions one after another. So I live in Mutayaka area for 6 years already, and when we moved to the house, our house is close to the highway. Our landlord told that there was a plans to build the sound shields
Yes.
on the highway,
Yes.
but it stopped in Yermaso and nothing happened.
Yes.
Is there a plan?
Yes, I will tell you. There is a plan by the Ministry of Transport. I know that because I initiated the plan when I was a transport minister back in 2008. We started then, and our concern then was to put a few million of these sound barriers every year. Unfortunately, the crisis came and they stopped, and recently the government has started again to install these sound barriers. The idea is to install along all the areas, or the inhabited areas through which the highway passes. It's a matter of capital expenditure. And we have to push, we are continuously pushing the government to beef up the money spent so that our friends who live near highway don't have this nuisance. But it's something that the central government does, and you may address the issue of exert pressure towards the Ministry of Transport.
Ministry of Transport, yes, we know.
We will certainly do it on your behalf.
Thank you very much. Yes, Alexei is a lawyer. His office, his head office is in Hamburg. But seeing how Limassol grows, how much power Limassol has now, he opened an office in Limassol. So he's a newcomer with his business and his clients to solve their problems and situations in Limassol.
Yes, thank you very much for your time. Very nice to speak with you. I have a few questions. So the first one, we understand that you're planning to develop the city center, but from our perspective, there's a lot of problems obtaining some licenses for restaurants, snack bars, and all that. And we see that a lot of companies that would like to join this industry are afraid due to the bureaucracy. So the question is, are there any progress internally from the municipality to digitalize or to make it more effective, because we understand there are several departments involved? Thank you.
Bureaucracy, it's a huge monster. It's a monster. I mean, it's one of the greatest opponents that we face, citizens also face. We are trying very hard to limit bureaucracy. Steps are being made, not fast enough, but we try very hard. For example, applications for up to 3 stories are already digitalized. There is a new IT program which will name the Vagoras by the Vagoras was an ancient Cypriot king, which is being developed to be used by all municipalities. So there will be an interconnection between municipalities. Hopefully, it will be installed by next year. Some pilot programs are being already used by our municipality. The only way to combat bureaucracy is through technology. And believe me, we're trying very hard. We haven't yet made the progress that we would have liked, but this is a big challenge for us, and we certainly keep trying very hard.
Thank you.
Thank you. We'll accept 2 more questions, and then we will move to the questions of all this progress that we have to have less municipalities in Cyprus. So, could you remind us what are the plans in Limassol? What municipality will join which municipality to create bigger groups?
We have 6 municipalities now in the greater Limassol area, and they will become 4. Now we have Limassol, Mesagidonía, Agios Athanasios, Germasoia, Kato Polemidia, and Ipsonas. The new situation will be the joining of Limassol with Mesagidonía, one municipality, the joining of Germasoia with Agios Athanasios, Agios Tikonas, and some other villages.
Mutayaka.
Second municipality. The third municipality will be Kato Polemidia with Pano Polemidia. And the fourth municipality will be with Ipsonas, with all the villages starting from Akrotiri, Episkopi, Trachoni, Eriti, Kolossi. These will be the 4 municipalities. Still, the Limassol municipality, which will be the Limassol, the present Limassol with Mesagidonía, will be the biggest municipality, and the biggest in Cyprus as well. It will still remain the biggest, yes.
Because you have already Agios as a part of the municipality.
Yes. The
Then you
biggest,
have Mesagidonía, and then you have until the
Casino area.
yes, Casino area.
Yes, but it is still the largest municipality in terms of population, not in terms of area. In terms of population, it is the biggest, and it will remain the most populous municipality in Cyprus.
How many people live in Limassol municipality,
Well,
not
the-
Limassol city?
The enrolled, the registered people are about 120,000.
Mhm.
But of course, the greater Limassol area is more than 250,000, and that perhaps doesn't include numbers of non-Greek Cypriot. At any given time, one in every inhabitant of Limassol is of non-Cypriot origin, which is a great asset for the
One
city.
in
In every 20%.
20%.
One in every 5. We consider it to be one of our greatest assets. We have so many friends from so many foreign countries who have chosen Limassol to be their home away from home. And I have to admit, we live in perfect harmony, mutual respect. We don't have any problems. I'm sure that as far as the municipality is concerned, we don't differentiate or distinguish between citizens of one origin or citizens from another origin. And I hope that you feel at home and you feel welcome and you feel, happy in our city, despite the problems that there are and they're trying to solve.
Yeah, now we are moving to the problems. My second part of the second set of questions, they are about noise, crime, and the trash waste on the streets. So, noise. The questions are, Limassol motorcycles, how to regulate their nighttime misconduct, noise, high-speed driving, all this. And second, football fans are of the concern. They use firecrackers, they have aggressive behavior, they hold their gatherings at the parking slot in the intersection of the promenade in Makarios Avenue. They misbehave. And what steps are you taking or you want to take to improve the situation with motorcycles at night and football fans?
This is perhaps one of the most difficult problems that we are facing. Last Wednesday, I requested and I met with the Minister of Interior, the Minister of Justice and Public Order, and the Chief of Police. I requested this meeting to discuss about these problems in Limassol. Next Friday, the Municipal Council has requested the local police chief with his collaborators to come to the Municipal Council and inform us on the measures and the actions and the plans they have to combat hooliganism, graffiti, noise, and stuff like that. It is a matter of the authorities responsible for public order, of course, who will cooperate, especially as far as the noise is concerned. We have implemented some rules. For example, we have lowered the noise level, which is allowed in the city to 60 decibels. The legislation provides up to 75 decibels. We have lowered it to 60 decibels all over the city.
What does it mean in practice? So we don't know, we don't understand.
Absolutely, yes. This is the problem. The music is not allowed after 12 o'clock. The problem is for the police forces to come and enforce the law. And they are trying very hard to convince them that they have to come. And if, for example, a restaurant or a bar at 12:30 plays music and doesn't have a license to play music or to even operate, it is illegal. They have to confiscate the music playing machine and equipment. They have to close it down. They all have realized that the problem has reached a very critical point. If we don't manage it, it will become very hard to manage in the future. Of course, we are very concerned that among these young, you mentioned the young boys, the young football fans who create all these problems. Among these young people are 15-year-old teenagers. And we are very concerned about that. We are trying to create, let's say, infrastructure for them to have other activities. For example, we have created in Agia Fila a basketball field. We have created in Agios Andreas a football field. We have opened the Lazio. The Lazio is the old stadium, which is at the seaside area. We have opened there Mini football, basket, soccer. We are opening the 4 fields at the seaside, at the seashore for beach volley, beach soccer, in an effort to give these young people who obviously are disoriented. I mean, we cannot blame a 15-year-old. Obviously, it's us. We have to blame ourselves for not giving these young people something to look forward to. But it is a
question. Why for so many years the football club in Kanika Center was not relocated in more safe areas so that do not disturb Limassol citizens? Why not to put the club outside of Limassol where they can shout as much as they want?
we would have been very glad if.
So many years and
I know. It's not the football club that is in front. I mean, there's somebody who owns the shop, and according to the law, he can get a license to operate it as a coffee shop. He operates it as a coffee shop, but everybody belonging to the football club of a specific team, they gather there. If we close it, if we have reason to close it, they will move somewhere else, or somewhere else. It's not easy to convince them. We have come up with many proposals to take them to some industrial areas. They are not convinced. They want to be in the center of the city. This is where they want to be. They want to be near the roundabout where the spring is. This is where they want to be. It's a very difficult issue, and we are trying very hard together with the police to talk to them, to create a framework of communication with them. Because if we don't communicate with them, there's no way we can control. It's a problem that most cities all over the world face, and I think the defining factor is to have the carrot and the stick. You need a firm, strong police force to enforce the law, and you need also an approach to give not the hardcore of these people. You cannot win the hardcore of the people, but you can win the youngsters who follow because they have nothing else to do. So this is.
Now I'm moving to the crime situation in Limassol and really here. How do you plan to tackle the increasing crime situation in Limassol? It's becoming uncomfortable to walk the streets in the evening when it gets dark. And it's obvious that the situation is only worsened due to the city growing population. I will stop here with this crime thing. So do we have any plan how to make Limassol safer?
I hope to have some answers this Friday by from the police.
We'll be glad to hear it.
This is the first time that the whole municipal council, 26 members plus the mayor, will be with the local police force to discuss. We are asking them to tell us and to convince us that they are doing whatever necessary has to be done. They are always complaining that they don't have enough people. I can understand it. I'm not saying that they are indifferent. They are trying very hard. But if there is an issue of hiring more policemen, then we push the government to do something about it. Because if we don't do something about it, our cities run the risk of starting disintegrating, and it will be a pity. Limassol used to be, and it still is, a safe city. I think Limassol is a safe city compared to other cities. Of course, there are things that have to be done in order to remain a safe city and become even a better with respect to safety city.
Okay. Now I will move to a clean city. Not only safe, but clean. And believe us that among these questions, we got over 80 questions. Every second question was about cleaning. So we just grouped them, and there are problems with the collection of sorted waste. So lack of or insufficient special bins. Where can one find a schedule for households' collection of sorted waste? How to improve the situation with waste in the city? Waste is littered on the roads, on the playgrounds, everywhere is dirty. Can a schedule be created for pruning the trees, for cutting the trees in the private sector, so to cut the dangerous branches? Are there any programs to combat vandalism? You mentioned it, vandals. And we are talking about damaged playgrounds, parks, graffiti-covered monuments, and many other questions, but all of them are connected with the fact that when we drive along Limassol, the bins are overpacked, so everything is around, and when people see that everything is around, they don't think twice, they throw more. And even the shops, there are nice shops, not shopping street, but the shops are taking their own boxes just next to the shop, which looks judging. So the leaders are very much concerned. They see the efforts of City Friends Club. There is a community of IT people who are helping and who are helping to clean it, but it's not a matter only to clean, it's a matter to educate so people don't know it next morning. So what do you
It's an endless war, really, an endless war against those who litter. I only have one complaint. I would have liked people not to complain, or rather, okay, they can complain about the people who clean the city, but they should complain about the people who make the city dirty. So instead of taking a picture of some litter on the street and saying, where is the municipality? I would have liked them to say, okay, who is that? I won't say the word. Who littered? Of course, that doesn't exclude us from our responsibilities. We have over the last quite a few years replaced 14 new garbage collecting trucks. We have bought 2 more road sweeping mechanical cars. We have doubled the number of road sweepers. By the way, by next Monday, we'll be hiring an additional number, close to 40 personnel, new personnel to do it. We have installed a new gun collecting within the center continuously, every day. It's not enough. We will not stop improving our methods and our equipment and let's say beefing up our personnel. The biggest challenge is to transform the culture. We have to convince people, whoever they are, that they have to respect, first of all, themselves, then the city, and then their fellow citizens. This is a big challenge. And believe me, the battle is not won yet. I think the situation is not worsening, considering the last few years, but it's not improving at the pace we have wanted. So, if I am to make a promise, is that we will continue doing it, we will work even more hard, and centralize our attention towards changing the culture, the attitude of the people, making them participants in our effort to clean the city. Of course, we have friends like City Friends and other groups of people who contribute to what we are doing. But you clean an area of the city, the next morning it's there again. So we have to convince, and of course there are methods to convince them. It's not just by telling them, if you replace the dustbins and you are trying to have started replacing the old ones with new ones, that helps. In the city, the more cleaner it becomes, the less someone will be inclined to make it dirty. The more dirty it is, the more dirty people will be. But this is a large let's say, effort, and we are certainly not putting down our efforts. As far as the sorted material collection, actually, the company that makes the collection, it's not the municipality, it's an independent company, Green Dot, has to collect from each house once a week. Once a week, and they have their program. Once a week, if you put your bags outside, the right bags, of course, the right color, they will come and pick. We have complaints also Sometimes they are late, sometimes they don't do their job very properly. So please let us know. So please let us know through 77777788 or Mr. Ioannidis is actually the front desk as far as these complaints are concerned. Let us know. Tell us your phone number besides the central phone number, so that people
have the number 25 884 331.
331. Okay.
It is a number in my office over there.
What is the office house called?
It's the front desk, the office of,
Yes.
we call it the
Citizens'
complaint,
office.
the citizens' office, not the complaint. We used to call it back in the old days the complaint office, but it's not a complaint. When somebody calls and requests service, that's not a complaint, it's a request with something which has to be respected.
So maybe it also helps if you call Green Dot directly. You let them know that I am planning to conduct this to have my literal plastic paper class. So please put me on schedule because they don't have the city is amazing when they do not expect to get any something. So expect for those who are, very much interested in doing so, to let them know and so they are on schedule. I have no complaints from them because I do recycle both in my house and in my office, outside my office. They are always present and they always come and collect everything.
Okay, we have a comment, and from this comment we will start questions. We have 20 minutes. So this 20 minutes, I suggest everyone has a small comment or question to complete, and then Mr. Mayor, if you allow us to make a group photo at the stairs here so everyone will fit, and together with the municipality and the municipal council members. Alright, so now your comment, and then we go this round maybe for comments and questions.
Just a quick follow-up question on the comments. So I have this also problem with Grillo that I can share my experience. It's work. They have you can even write them on the Facebook or whatever. They react. They do everything. So it's okay. I have a follow-up question. For example, City Friends Club. They have like this. So City Friends Club. They have like this small. I don't know how to say it, group of people, division, they have a truck and they have a few cleaners and they go around, for example, here in Limassol, cleaning the streets and everything. I never saw anything from a municipality like this. Why we don't have this, I don't know, division around the city who is cleaning the city, cleaning the streets every day?
We have pedestrian cleaners, sweepers, yes. Which part of Limassol do you live?
There.
Well,
No, I mean, when I'm driving around the seafront, for example, I never saw the cleaners. Never.
You should see them. You don't see them, they hide. They have a tendency to go very early in the morning because that, later on the heat is prohibited. They start at 4 o'clock. They start at 4 o'clock and by 10 o'clock they finish. But of course, in the Molos area, you have continuous gangs, throughout the day. Noted. We have to. I mean, they have to be everywhere. Instead of saying that I don't see them, I want to next time we need to say, my God, wherever I go, I see these people cleaning the city.
Alright, so yes, Nadia is a new person in Limassol. She relocated. Her offices are in London and in Latvia, and she is a representative of financial sector, of those who develop fintech and new ways of payments and banks, new tradition of banking payments. Yes.
But my question also for Yes, I would like to ask, are there any social programs, for example, to educate people via media or maybe with social advertising, because it really works in other countries to educate people how to collect, to not throw the waste outside. Is there any advice in this way?
Yes, we try to use the social media, primarily the social media for
Because
educating
even
people.
mothers also
jobs.
We have done the near past campaign, Clean Limassol, with banners and everything. I think it's time to do it again because it has to be repeated.
Yeah. Not only the message, but how to do it.
Yes.
To give them some incentive and advice.
What is your opinion about giving fines to people when they leave the city?
Fines.
Yes, it works. With
Do you
fines.
think it's a good idea?
Yes,
It works everywhere.
because it works and people think twice to throw the rest.
Sorry for interrupting, but maybe fines not in the financial, but if you litter, you need to spend so many hours.
Social work.
Yes.
You have to take them to court.
The court will take 5-7 years.
Yes. But finding them, there is a possibility to find them on the spot. Of course, it's not an easy idea because you have to catch someone during the littering procedure.
But there are very simple things about fine. You have shops and the boxes are outside and it's written on the box.
We find them. Those we
You
find.
can find them.
We have,
And
there's
you can-
there's a limit of 85 euros, 85 euros fining. We find them, but
Do they care?
it's just a small bite. I mean, it's not.
Yes, Ako.
I'm so
Ako
sorry.
was the representative of traditional businesses because you know the serious business.
Support first of all the idea from Nadezhda who said about the education, because I don't believe that by putting fines or anything like this, enforcement is a question. You can do anything, but if you keep your city clean and you educate, definitely people at some point will start to, for example, clean each other, that do not throw it. And minimum you have to do it, you have to have trash cans. Believe me, in Cyprus, there are no normal separated trash cans where people can walk and throw their cigarettes. I've seen it many times. I'm not a smoker, but definitely I pay attention on cigarettes thrown on the floor. Why? It's not because probably people want to throw it on the floor, but probably there are trash cans that are missing. And the second thing which I wanted to raise, I know Cyprus probably 30 years. I was 21 and started to visit Cyprus, and more than 3 years I live here. Although I'm not born here in Limassol, but have given birth to Limassolian. So I have the right to say that I share and moreover take the liability. It hurts me when I see fallen fruits that are being smashed under the tires of my car. It is against humanity and against fruits. Limassol is full of fruit trees in front of the houses, and it's a pity when you come to park your car under a tree and you are smashing the mandarins and lemons and oranges under your car and other fruits also. Honestly speaking, there are a lot of people who are starving who wants to have these fruits. Limassol is just smashing. Moreover, it's importing from Africa and selling the same fruits to people for amazing amount of money. And I have always had this question in my head that isn't it possible, we have a lot of community, the IT community, other people, but there is a practice, I mean, people you can gather the so-called subotnik, which is like a Saturday, cleaning day. You can call 1-2 times, when there is the season, that people come and collect it in boxes and put it at a certain place and say, whoever homeless you want to take it, come and take it. Why do we smash it? Or input this obligation, please advise the owners of houses who have these trees. Tell them it's your obligation to clean the tree. I don't care, but the tree has to be supported. Moreover, probably Limassol could become a social-oriented city too, and help with these fruits, the others.
Absolutely. Your remark is very valid. Very valid.
the driver of Mr. Mayor came and said he has to go, so we need to, to make it a little bit shorter. But I will take
It's
2 or 3.
It's music day today, and there are a couple of very nice events at the in front of the port, of the old port. So if you have some time, you see some music. We organize it with Alliance Française to celebrate Music Day. So you're welcome.
So, just 1 or 2 short comments. Whoever wants to say something, and we will close up the event. Yes, please.
Thanks for the meeting. I'm Evgenia, I'm a travel blogger, and I have one short question. Do you have a focus of how many tourists will choose Limassol for their holidays, and maybe their recovery into tourist flow after COVID?
How many tourists do we have in Limassol nowadays?
I don't have the figures. We expect a raise from last year. I think the levels of 2019 will be reached again. Of course, Limassol is not a Yanaba in terms of massive tourism. But what we do have, we have over the year visitors, businessmen who come and go. So this is even much more important than having influxes of tourism. Also something which is very important, we expect the arrival of approximately 200 cruise ships this summer and autumn, which means more than 300,000 tourists just from the cruises, over and above the regular influx of tourism, of tourists who come to the city and stay at hotels and other.
So I would like to summarize and also to give a floor just a few words to Father Pavel, who is about the Russian-speaking church, this beautiful, nice church. Could you tell a few words about the community there and about your work?
If you allow, yes, I will. So we have Father Pavel, we have discussed it today. Our parish is comparatively young, but we're very happy to say that we have been gathering a very Orthodox Christian multinational community who apparently is gathering together Russians, Ukrainians, Greeks, Cypriot Greeks, Serbians, and other Orthodox nationalities. And we are very much happy that the parish has the church, but I would call it the temple because it's rather big, and we can imagine, which is coming very close to its opening day. We have almost finished all the construction works, and
Yes, so what it
About the cathedral, which is on the Limassol area.
Isn't it operating?
It is, but it's not completed yet.
Yeah, it's not completed yet. And taking this opportunity, of course, and having heard this amazing and soul-lighting future and past presentation which you have made, we would really love to tighten our relations with Limassol more. And taking this opportunity, we would like to, believe that you could share with us the opportunity of having the grand opening of our parish and the church. And we would love to invite you. The date and the invitation will come later when we have negotiated. And we will understand when it will happen. And currently, as I said, we are now in the process of gathering all the papers in order to get the permissions, the official documentation, so we can have the official operating of the church, which I believe that now that you would have a specific attention to that issue if it comes to your attention, you may ask. And that's it. So please be our close friend.
And we gladly attend, and it's an honor.
Thank you. Thank you. To complete this mission, I have mission. To complete this meeting, I have a mission. To give you something from the fast-growing, so easy IT community, and it's a gay community.
this exclusive wine. It's exclusive wine we made together with Andros Sangaridis, the owner of Sangaridis Winery. And it's specially made in Cyprus for game deaf community.
Game deaf bubbly rose. So can we have a photo?
It's very limited.
So from all this new community.
It's not wine, it's sparkling something.
Yes, it's
Yes,
sparkling
rosé.
something.
It's rosé.
Yes.
Very much for being here. It has been a very fruitful meeting. Thank you for taking the time to come with us, to come and meet with us, and giving us the opportunity to communicate with you, to say a few things to you, and certainly to hear from you. This is most importantly, the local authorities must have their ears, and we certainly have our ears open. Once again, I would like to thank Ms. for their continuing care for the city, for her city, because she feels a Limassolian as much as we do. Let's stay in touch. Let's keep in touch, and let's create channels of communication, and let's do this more often.
Thank you.